Hello, boys. I'm back. I'm back and streaming. Just doing some quick advertising, but I'm nearly finished. I usually do it while the music is running. Okay. I think I'm done with that. Okay, good. So, what we did the last time? Well, the last time we worked a bit on the design of the stats and skills window. We had a bit of a design, which was this one, which we decided together, and I asked feedback to the rest of the team. Actually, at the moment, I didn't get a lot of feedback yet, so I'm still waiting their feedback. But meanwhile, I think we can progress, right? We can progress. So we can try to build this UI. So the objective of today is to understand how to build this UI. What is the best way and what is the way that is more, let's say, parametric, because this is reused across multiple windows. I mean, this concept is reused across multiple windows, including combat, jobs, and such, right? So I would like to be sure that we are reusing it, right? We are reusing it multiple times. So that is the objective. Let me check who's here, by the way. Hello, Maui. Nice to see you. I'm just trying to get one of my many browsers the right stream. So how we do it? Just before starting the stream, I started to do a few tests, but I'm still at the early beginning. So I started to do some tests, just creating a simple window. I wanted to understand how to propagate events between one widget and the other, right? And I've seen that it's very possible. So what I was doing, and I can show you, is, you remember we have our W button, right? Our W button is a very simple object that takes a few parameters and input, in particular the texture, the atlas, and the coordinates of our icons. And then based on that, it creates the icon. Then on top of that, I have created what I call the skills and stats progress bar, or progress, right? Which should be a widget roughly like this. So with a progress bar, an icon which can be clickable, which is clickable, and a target rank, right? And a target rank. Now this widget is similar to what we have seen here in Paint, right? Is similar to this, right? It's one of these things. I decided I want to have the progress bar before the icon, just because you are going to an objective, towards an objective, and not the opposite. So you start with the progress bar and then you end up with an icon, right? With an icon. So with that said, this will be our widget. Now I was trying to understand how to propagate the click of this button, which is actually exposed here. I think it was exposed. Why is not? Okay, because I have to go to graph. No. Why is not exposed anymore? W button. Oh, something happened. Our W button should expose this on mouse button down, and this one calls a dispatcher because we have this W button click dispatcher. Exactly. So when I go here and I reuse this widget, I should have, but for some reason I don't have anymore. Why? I was having like 2 seconds ago. I was having here the ability to call, to associate my dispatcher to this. Probably because I did something else here in the code, right? Because I did it through the code. That's why. Yeah, so I'm passing, yes, because what I did, say in the code, is that when that W dispatcher is called, I actually want to call another dispatcher, which is actually set on this window, so to expose the same click outside, say, to the next level, because I want this to be a composition of widgets. So then I created another widget, which is this one, which will be the skill rank. So will be, let's say, a composition of progress bars. And at the moment in this one, what I did, I have added an horizontal box because I want to have multiple of those widgets lined up, one after another. And now I was trying to understand how to create, dynamically those widgets and put them into the horizontal box. So which is what I was doing now. So the point is, hello Ezio, good morning. You should keep, if you can, you should keep English in the chat, please, because English is the official language of the channel. You should keep it in English, please. Okay. So I was trying to put in here, let's say, a dynamic creation of this. So I could, in the construction of the window, create one of the skill progress widgets. I can set the percentage of progress, so let's say, for example, 50%, and then I can add this to my horizontal box, right? Add this to my horizontal box, and then after this I could create another one, add another one. Now, yeah, let's just do it for now. Let's just do it like this. I know it's not very meaningful, but I think we should just understand how this may work. Okay, so I'm creating another one of the same type, and I'm setting the percentage, I don't know, to 70%, and I'm adding as a child. I also would like to change the rank, right? So the first rank should be, I don't know, 10, the second should be 20. So I want to change of this guy. Now, before adding the child, I want to change of this guy. I want to get txt rank. Yes, get txt rank, and of this thing I want to set the text, right? For example, to 10. For now, we will just do it like this. Okay, it's not. Then we will change it later. But just to understand, if it works, if this is the way we should use or not. And the same I think we should do here. So we should get the rank, txt rank, and we should set text to, for example, 20, right? So this will create two of our widgets, one with rank 10 and one with rank 20. Now they will not have an image though, they will have a default image. Okay, for now let's say the default image is fine. Yeah, for now I think it's fine. What I want to do next, I want to be sure that when I click on a button, which I think is the hard part here, when I click on a button, I want to trigger one of my functions, right? So I would like to ensure that my new created widget, which is this one, can have a bind event. I don't know how to call it, but is I think it's called clicked something. So I think I think it's called skill. Let's go for skill and see. There it is. So these are all the ones. So assign button skill dispatcher. So this thing I'm not very used to. So I'm not really understanding fully how this works. So we have to test it a bit together and then see what is it. Okay. So we have bind event to button skill click dispatcher. Okay, fine. I think we can use this one, but my issue is what is it? So if I create an event, add event, custom event, let's say click at 10. Okay, so let's say that I have my click at, so I click the first one, then if I do the same for the second, well, I could bind both to the same event, which is interesting. The point is that I need to know who is, who is the button that we clicked. And unfortunately, here I don't have it. This starts to be a bit tricky though. So how do I identify that I'm coming from one button or from another button inside my custom event? Can I add a parameter here? No, I cannot add a parameter. I cannot add a parameter. Well, I could set it before the bind. No. Bind event. Because I do different events. The problem of doing different events is that the number, this will be a loop, This will be a loop cycle that is creating these things automatically for us. And so this will be a for loop. And so we cannot control. That is interesting. Let me see what else we have in skill click. So we have assign button skill click dispatcher. So I think it is if you want to have another dispatcher going out, but I don't think it's our case. Bind event is the one that we just used now. Call button skill click dispatcher. Well, here we're just triggering it, but it's not what we want, and then we can unbind. Then there is something more here. Button skill click dispatcher delegate signature. What is this? Button skill click dispatcher delegate signature. Yeah, the delegate signature here. What is delegate signature? No idea. But basically my point is that I should add in my here somewhere in my dispatcher. Can the dispatcher have a parameter? Yeah, you can have a parameter, but it's only an input. It's only an input. Is an input. An input, what does it mean? Input to what? So let's say that I call it button clicked and is of type W button. I don't know. Let me try. What happens if I do this? I have an input now. I have an input. Now I can put a reference to self. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad, but I can put a reference to self. The problem is that I don't know any way. I don't know if you understand the problem, but the problem is that, okay, I can put a reference to self. No, I cannot. Cannot even. I cannot because, yes, this is not, no, will be my button thingy, but is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Because then I have to switch. So the point is that, okay, I can make this a variable, right? And then I can put a reference to self, well, to the button somehow. Okay, let's try just for reasoning, okay? Just to reason a bit on this. So in this case, I can put a reference to this. And so it means that my dispatcher has one parameter set. Every time we click on the button, we also pass on the reference to this button. Okay, fine. Not a fan of this, but let's see what happens next. Then this means that in my bind event button click whatever, let me see if I do it again now that it's compiled. So if I do if I do bind skill, no, what was that? Bind event to button skill dispatcher. Bind event to button skill dispatcher. Ah, you see, here I have my button clicked. It appeared here. Oh, very cool. Oh, very, 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 very cool. Very cool. So it's actually possible to do what I'm trying to do. It's actually possible. Okay, so because here then I will have something like, you know, one button has been clicked. I don't know which one, but at that point I could switch on this. Can I switch on? No, maybe switch is too much, huh? Cannot really switch on this. I mean, I can compare it. I can compare. What if I give it an ID and then I just reach an ID? That's probably the simplest, right? If I just give, if I put a parameter in when I create the widget, which is a certain ID, and then I get my ID here as a result, then I will know exactly which button I clicked, and I can display whatever I want. It is pretty cool, I think. Okay, let's try to do it this way. Let's try to do it. Let's try to do it this way. Why this one doesn't compile? Because I didn't take my horizontal box. Why not? No, wait. Set percent. This is the set percent, right? Which should come from here, I think. No? Should come from what? So the set percent was coming from what? From progress bar. Okay. I have to take the progress bar of this guy. But I think we can already do it correctly, because now I was just trying to do some tests, but I think that we can probably do it right already, in the sense that we can create a kind of a cycle here. We can create a kind of a for loop that cycles a number of times, is creating X amount of widgets horizontally, one next to the other. So each one just to tell you what I'm doing, right? Each one is something like this thing. So a progress bar, an icon, and a number, right? And then another progress bar, an icon, and a number, and that's it. And it goes on, and it goes on and on, right? Where the beginning is always zero, right? The beginning is always zero skill. So there is the widget that I'm trying to create dynamically and multiply it inside my major widget, which is big as this, right? Which is my container for all these progress bars, which will have then a scroll bar like we said here, the scroll bar at the bottom, right? So this is the idea. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to have that when I click on this particular icon, is giving me this panel, right? So I need a way to populate this. So this is what I'm doing here. Can you wait me 1 second? I have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, but maybe I should have went before the stream, but it will be quick. It will be very quick. How do I delete this? One minute bathroom break, okay? 1 minute will be super quick. But by the time I wrote this, I would be back already. But 1 second. Okay, I'm here now. So what I was saying, what I was saying is that we can, yes, we can concatenate. Now the question is, how do we identify one particular button that we click, right? How do we identify it? I was thinking we can just give it like an ID, and then we just go by ID, or we can go by whatever thing it is, an enumeration, whatever it is. The problem with enumeration is that it means that if we have to expand it, we will have to change the enumeration, which I don't like really much. I don't like it all, actually, because maybe we change it server side. Maybe server side we decide to add a new rank, and it should be completely parametric, so that we can add a new rank without, a new effect, a specific rank, without having to change the client. Right, yes. So the problem is that to identify, I will have to know that I clicked something that is inside agility, and then I need to know that I clicked ranked 10. Rank 10 is easy because I can read it from the number, right? Because I have it in the text box. I have a text box with that number in, so I can read it from there. That's simple. I can access my txt rank and put it in the as an input of the delegate. Yes, I think that's a good. Yes, that's a good one. So I only need. So I have the rank already in the text. I only need to identify the major block, like agility, strength, endurance, charisma, and will, right? I'll only have to identify this block. This one can be just an ID. It can be ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It's not a problem. It's not a problem, but I have to give it as an input. I have to give it as an input to our delegate. So let's say that in our button icon, which is this guy, why we don't have the parameter anymore? Wait a second. I know I added a parameter here to my, not to the button itself. Yeah. I added to my skill stat progress. Yes. Okay, I think we should do something like the following. We don't need this one. We need the ID. Let's call it skill stat ID. Let's call it skill stat ID, right? And this will be an integer. I think it's fine. And then the rank, we read it just from the text, but we need it as a parameter. We need it as a parameter, yes. So we will have rank. Yeah, we will have rank. This is also an integer, right? And at this point, what we want to do when we click on the button is to take. Actually, skill stat ID should be set somehow. It should be a variable. Should be a variable is also going in, because we don't have it at the beginning. We don't have it when we create this thing. So should be a variable that is called exactly the same. I hope it doesn't mess up. But skill stat ID, and this thing is an integer. and this one we will just get and assign to this, while the other one, why is called new parameter? No, it's called rank, it's not called new parameter. Why call bind? No, please. Why it disappeared? No, I need my bind. Why it disappeared? It was so good. Was bind to event? Was this thing? No. It was not bind. It was call. Why I'm saying bind? It was call. Call skill. No, call buttons. Call button skill dispatch. Yeah, exactly. Okay. This one. So this one we set this, and then rank we can just convert the value of our txt rank get text, right? This one should be converted to integer. How do I convert this to an integer in Blueprints? I mean, from code is from int, is f string from int. So how is it in Blueprints? I want to convert it to an integer this time. How do I do it? How do I do it, boys? I have to do it in Blueprints. Do you know how to do it? If you know how to do it, tell me, please. If you know how to do it, tell me. Let's put Blueprint at the beginning because it's a stronger filter. Is numeric. Yeah, but is numeric is just checking if it's numeric. I want to convert it to make literal text. No. How to do it, boys? Please. Should be simple. Should be simple. To float. Yeah, these are all the. Yeah, no, there's to int, but. To int byte, convert the byte into an integer? No, I want to convert a string into an integer. A to E. Is there an A to E something in Blueprints? To int. But to int start from a bool, from a byte, or from a vector. Oh no, there is also string to int. Nice, I found it. So I convert text to string and then string to integer. Okay, this is what it does. Okay. Okay. So the point, what is the point? The point is that we get as an input, well, we could also, no, but I think it's fine. We get as an input a number, we put it here, and we need this stat ID to be visible from the outside actually. So when I create my start and skill progress, when I create this thing, I have to set a number of things. I have to set the rank, right? And the rank in this case, for example, will be 10. I have to set the percentage, right? Then I have to set yeah, on the progress bar, let's say. So on the progress bar I have to set the percentage. Then I want to set my skill ID, right? So I need to take this guy and see if there is a set skill ID. Stat skill ID, how the hell did I call that? Should be stat skill ID. I call it skill stat ID. Okay. Skill stat ID. Yes, so I want to set this guy to what? I want to set this guy to well, this will come from the outside, so this will come from the loop. This will come from the loop, so maybe we can just create the loop already. And this will come from ultimately from the server, right? So the server will send me the information the first time this window is constructed, and based on that it will create all the widget. Well, actually we'll create it based on my character, so I need to take the information of my character the first time and create this window. And then when I have to update this window, that would be interesting. When I have to update the window, I just update the percentages. I guess so. I will then have an update function which will update only the percentages, which is probably the easiest. Hey guys, if you are in the chat, if you are connected and you are watching me, just drop a line in the chat so I know you're there. Drop an hello, a hi, whatever you want, so I know you're there. Okay. And if you are not registered to Google yet, you have to register a Google account and then you can chat. Okay. So just register and then you can chat. So what we want to do here, we want to let's create a for loop just as an example for now. Okay, let's just create dummy for loop for now, and then it will come from the server, right? But if I do a for each, no, let's create an array maybe. Let's make an array, and then we will get this array from the server. But for now, we just create it manually, okay? This array will be made of two things. Well, it will. Well, maybe I can create a small structure because I need a small structure to keep few things. To keep my skill ID, my percentage, my rank, and potentially also the icon. Because in reality, also the icon is parametric, right? Also the icon is parametric. Everything is parametric, basically. So I could create a small structure. I could create a small structure. I don't want to do it now because I wanted to test this first, but I wanted to just have some dummy data. Maybe we can just, you know, I just wanted to have some dummy data. How do I make a string? This make literal string? Okay. So I can, and if I want to make an integer, make integer something. Make literal int. Okay, nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, so we can just populate our array in a very simple way. We make actually an array of an array because it should be, should be made of at least 2 elements. So we will have is all IDs, or there is also, let's say that we have agility. Interesting. We have no, we have we have only literals. We have only literal ints, right? So we will have, for example, our ID, which will be 1, our rank, which will be 5. Let's take the example here in the picture, okay? So our ID will be agility 1, our rank will be 5, 1 and 5. This will go inside an array, okay? Then I will have the next one, but I also need the icon. But for now, the icon, let's say that we don't, and we also need the progress. So I need another int, which is the progress, which will be, for example, no, the progress is calculated, by the way. It's calculated by the skill. Okay, but for now, okay, then we will do it later. Let's just say that this line is 50%, okay? That is 50%. So I will have this, and then I will have another array, right? Another array, which will be identical to this, just will be the second one, right? So this will be ID number 2, value, what is it, 10, okay, value 10, and percentage, I don't know, 20%, right? So this will be another array, another element of our final array, and then we just make another array, taking these 2 thingies. I cannot. Really? Why I cannot? I cannot make an array of an array like this. I had to create a structure. Okay. Why? Why? Why I cannot do an array of an array? Well, I can actually declare this as a structure for a second, and then so we can have our array of a structure, right? Maybe we should do this so it's a bit cleaner. So if I go under data and I just create a new, how is it called? How is it called? Structure? I think it's structure. Let's call it skill stats struct. Skill stat, okay. We said we need 3 integers, right? So the first one is ID. The second one is rank. And the third one is percent. Okay, the full value is 000. Okay, that's fine. So if I define this thingy, so now I think that I can make a skill stat struct. Okay, that's much easier probably, huh? Okay, and now I hope I can make an array of this thingies. Nice, very nice. Okay, so and all of this will come from the database anyway, yeah. So this is just this is just to avoid doing everything in one shot and just testing in piece, to say piece by piece, right? So our array will have our array for now will have 2 elements, the elements number 5, the elements number 10, okay? Both reporting to the same agility, value. Now, how will the code know that is agility if I don't tell him? Maybe we should have a skill ID associated. Yes, we need also a skill ID. I think we need a skill ID because this one is only an icon ID. An icon ID is fine, but skill ID is better. So in this structure we need something more. We need this has to go up. The first thing will be the skill ID, actually skill stat ID, and it is also an integer. And then we have this one, which is the icon ID, or the let's call it icon ID. I mean, it's not completely true, but for now it's fine. Okay. So here we need to pass in also the stats ID now, which, for example, for agility, I don't remember. I think we can, if you look at the database, we can. But there is an ID. I mean, each thing is. So if I do select start from skills, beep, agility is 46, for example. Right? Agility is 46. So I will pass in 46, and then the second one will be the same, still 46. So this will be 2 values of the same agility, right? And they will have icon ID number 1, number 2, rank 5, rank 10, percentage 50, percentage 20, and we create my array. Okay, fine. All of this will come from the database. Okay, so we're just putting in the blueprint now to do a test, but obviously this will not be made in the blueprint. Hello, Maui. Hi. Yeah, I saw you already before. I was wondering who are the other 5 people. They're not speaking, but it's fine. These people are not registered in in YouTube, so they cannot speak. So what do we do now? Now I want on this to have a for each. Actually, the issue is that we will have to break it by skill, because each skill will be one line in the future, right? Okay, but let's start to make it this way. But in the future, I mean, this is not correct because we will have to be split even more, right? Be split even more. So what we want to do, we want to loop, and for each of the loops we want to do this. We want to create one window, one skill stats progress widget something, which is our, you know, if you remember, is our minimum entity. So is this, is one of this thingies. So it creates one of this. It creates one of this. Then you need to set, so we need to break this. We need to break this. And what? And we need to then put this stuff. So the icon, so the rank will go here. Start to become a bit complex, huh? But don't worry, we will get it right. The good thing is that with the loop, I don't have to create this twice, right? So it will be created automatically for me. So it will be only one, which is looping. So we want to set the rank, fine. We want to set the percentage. The percentage is a float. Why the percentage is a float? I have no idea. Because the progress bar by default is a float. Okay, fine. It's okay. So we set this, we set that, and then we set. This thing is a bit of a mess, though. Can we? I mean, it's a bit of a mess to look at. Can we make it cleaner somehow? Can we make it cleaner with some simplification? So like, I don't know if horizontal is better. Maybe horizontal is better, huh? What do you think? Maybe horizontal is better. The problem of horizontal is that all these values then will have to. Horizontal is better. Maybe horizontal is better. And then I will take this and I will put it here, you know. So that's why I wanted to do it, because I can do something like that, and it will, you know, visually will be a bit cleaner. Maybe horizontal is better. Right. And this thing goes here, and okay, the last one we will see. Yeah, it's a bit better. I don't know if it's much better, but it's a bit better, I think. Right? It's a bit better. So we set the rank, we set the percentage, we set the stat ID. Stat ID actually I think is we can do it in the same sequence, but we can set the stat ID, and then what? Sorry, I have an urgency to do this. I don't know why, but I think it's cleaner. It's cleaner if I do it like this, just because that ID starts first. It's a bit cleaner. I mean, it's not great, but considering it's already a mess, at least this one goes from here, this one goes from here, this one goes from here, this one goes from here. Move this one back a bit. Okay. I don't know if it's much better, but it's a bit better. So so for each loop, yes, for each loop we have to create this thing. Let me just do something. Okay. Slightly better. So for each loop, for each of these elements, we have to create one stat skill window. We have to break our structure, and maybe this one we can have like here. Yes, we can have like here. And then here we start to set stuff. So we set the ID, we set the text, we set the percent, and lastly we want to add this as a child of our horizontal box. Okay, fine. And we also want to do this, and we want to do what? We want to bind when it's completed. No, not when it's completed. For each one we want to bind. So at the end here we want to bind the on click of the same thing. So we want to bind the on click to this event, right? This we don't need. We want to bind. Okay. Okay. Let me compile and save. Okay, so I think we're making some progress here, at least in terms of logic. I like this, and I think we can reuse the same concept in other occasions, right? So now I will have my skill and stat widget created with these values, with some inputs, including the rank, the skill ID, and everything else. Now, is this guy capable of receiving that? Is this guy capable of receiving that? Well, the rank he receives because we set just the text, and then he's giving it back here. The stat ID, he has it as a parameter, and then he gives it back to the dispatcher. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it should be fine. Should be fine. So what is this thing going here? No, here white target and content does the same here. I don't understand. Why this has two lines? Okay, should be one line only. Okay. So we are creating the widgets, boom, 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 multiple times. In this case, only 2, but when the data will be coming from the server, maybe you can create 10 of them, right? But we create 2 for now, and we bind the click to this, which is cool. Now, why is new parameter here? No, this is not good. Let me delete this. Okay, is rank. Is rank. So skill stat ID. So the one that we get in is our skill stat ID, but we also need our icon ID. Without icon ID, we cannot do shit. We need also the icon ID, boys. Without this, we cannot do much. I mean, the original idea was that, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need another variable, which is our icon ID. Why I didn't put it from the beginning? I think there is a reason, and now I'm not fully understanding why. But this dispatcher needs another parameter, right? Can I derive the icon ID somehow? I mean, can I get it from the rank? The idea probably was to get it from the rank. No. No. Let's put it in. I don't know why I didn't have this, but I think it's fine. Yeah, call button. You don't like it anymore. So stat ID, rank is coming from here. And icon ID is coming from icon ID. I mean, obviously. But then I need to set icon ID when I'm going in, right? So I need another small space here where I set icon ID on the same target. Absolutely yes. This guy, yes. Do you like these graphics? I think are very mesmerizing, hypnotizing. With all these lines and things, I love them. It's so nice. Okay, so we said this, we said that. Hello, Soup. Nice to see you. Hello, Sway. We are working on the stats and skill window. So we are working actually on this window. I'm trying to build this window, but I'm trying to build it in a way that is fully parametric. So meaning that then we can populate it from the server side easily, you know, without having to rebuild it all the time or whatever. So it's just parametric, and we can also reuse it in the other tabs, like for magic, for combat, for jobs, right? So this is what I'm trying to do, and I'm in the middle of it. I think I found a way. I'm slowly making my way through that. I think I found a way. It's not really needed. I found a way. So because I'm a bit new to these bind events, delegates, and blah blah blah, but now I'm starting to understand it. So this will be one button has been clicked, right? So now let's assume that this cycle is completed, and so we created our widget. At least one line, okay. For now we created in theory, I mean, if it works, one line made of multiple objects, right? One next to the other, right? Okay, we did this, we created this. Now what we want to say is that when you click one of the buttons, one of the icons, which are actually also buttons, we show this part, right? Which should also come from the database, by the way, but for now we just... So when you click on that, this is our event, right? We have two ways. Or we ask the server for the information again. So every time you click, you are asking to the database, to the server, the most up-to-date information, which could be a way. Or we could store client-side the whole set, and we don't ask anyone. The problem is that if we change something server-side, the client will not know, so that's the disadvantage. Now, how often are we going to change the ranks of the stats while the server is up? I don't know, maybe not very often, but still I think it's a better design to keep it up, to keep it dynamic. So maybe we should ask the server. Okay, I think we should ask the server, but let's see. So let's say that our panel is big like this, and I want another panel next to it, which is actually a description. So I want a text. I want a text that explains my rank thingy. Rank explanation, right? So this one will be called txt description, rank description, txt rank description, and this thing will be populated exactly in this event. So we get txt rank description. We cannot get because we didn't promote it to a variable. We always have to click on is variable if you want to interact with it. So we go and we say get txt rank. Come on, txt rank description. Why I can only set? No, wait a second, boys. I get and I set the text. Okay, fine. So for now we will do something very stupid. For now we will just set the text to be equal to these parameters, just concatenated. Okay, because I want just to test the first piece. But in the future we will all read the database. Yeah, we will read the database, or anyway ask the cache of the server, which will not read the database, but we'll have it cached, obviously. But we will read the skills rank. And why is always new parameter? Why you cannot get the third one? Come on, boy. Why you cannot get the third parameter? It's not that hard. It's this one. Compile, save, new parameter. If I close it and open it again. Sometimes you have to do this in life. New parameter. Come on, it's not new parameter. I should do it again. Icon ID. Okay. Let's say one button is a bit generic. One rank has been clicked. Okay, let's call it one rank has been clicked. So when this happens, for now we just concatenate. We just concatenate these three things, right? So we do kind of an append of stuff like this and this and this. Will be very ugly for now, but it's okay. Right, and we set the description to that. Okay, nice. Okay, let's see what it does. I think you can test it already. You can test it already. We just need a way to pop up this window, because this window is not popped up in any way at the moment. This skill rank thingy is not popped up in any way. The skill stats rank something. You know what I'm thinking is that the problem is that now we have this line and this line, but shouldn't this be another widget? Maybe it should. Because the problem is that for the stats, we will need 6 of this. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For combat, this will be dynamic, so it would depend on how many you have learned. So it will be dynamic anyway. So maybe this widget. This has to be a widget, and then in my window I should put a vertical box, which is putting any amount of this. Yeah, I think this is what we should do, but not now. One thing at a time, otherwise I become crazy. So one thing at a time. Let's try to see if what we did up to now works anyhow. Okay. So let's trigger this window by pressing a key, okay, which I think is the easiest. So we press a key and we pop up that window. So if we go in our PS character, mouse and keyboard, I mean at the moment we have what we have mapped. We have mapped the enter key, page up, page down. We have mapped the left mouse, the right mouse, the U, which I don't know what it's doing. U is doing what? I don't know, it's doing something crazy. We have E. I mean, we have a lot of things. Left mouse again. Do anything else? No. Okay, and then we have we have a few more, because actually my character in the blueprints, in the PS character blueprint, now the PS character blueprint is here, is where I am. Didn't I have also the change of the camera somewhere, that when you press like F you go first person? I think I did. There is an escape that quits the game. Seems a bit rough to have escape quitting the game, actually. We should remove it. Where do I have the camera thingy? Do you remember? Anyone remembers when where I have the camera thing? Is in my Kren character? Did I put it just as a test in my Kren character? No, I didn't. Anyway, let's choose something that is not used yet. That's a good question. This is why I was looking at, right? I wanted to understand which characters we are not using yet. But under settings, edit project settings, you have input, and actually you can see all the keys that you have set. Like E is interact, jump, select object, move forward, look up, look right. But for example, the N key I think is free. So let's try to use N. Right? So we will say that when we press N, how do I do it? I do it here. Let's do it here somewhere. Here. When I press the N key, I want to create a new widget. By the way, I want to do this once only, right? I don't want to create, so do once. So this is a kind of a thing that when triggered it will never trigger again. So do once, then we want to create our widget, and the widget we want to create is called skill ranks, and we want to add this to the viewport, and we want to make it visible. Well, it's probably by default is already visible, but let's make it visible anyway. Right? Okay. So when we are in game and we press N, we will see that monster pop up. Now, can we close that window? No, at the moment we cannot close the window. It's okay. I mean, we will change it anyway. Let me just do this. Temporary delete me. Okay. So we didn't do any change to the code, which is pretty good. So it's all blueprint. All we did is all blueprints. I'm not expecting this to work at the first run, but it's just to see what it does and which kind of problems we have. We don't have any printouts. We don't have any printouts. Maybe let's put some printouts because I think we will need them when we are loading up this thing. So it should print out at least when it's creating the widget, right? I think it should. So it should print creating something. So append. So I should print like creating new rank, and then maybe let's just put in, I don't know, the rank number. Yeah, let's put in the rank number, and this will go into a print string. And this is just temporary stuff, so we can move it like up here in the middle of nowhere, so that we remember that we have to remove it. This is just temporary stuff. And then we want to print maybe when we are clicking on the button, right? I want to know if I clicked on something or not, and what I want to know is what I clicked, and I can say rank clicked, and we can put in, well, actually we'll display it in the text, but maybe something will happen. Well, if we arrive here anyway, it will be displayed, so it will be displayed in the window, so it's fine. Let's just say rank clicked. Okay, good. So let's go. Let's launch server and client and see what happens. So what I'm expecting to happen is that I press N and that window pops up with at least two, I mean, it should have 2 blocks, right? 2 blocks added to the horizontal box, to the horizontal container. And it should have an icon in theory, if I didn't do anything wrong, because it has a default icon. So the 2 icons will look the same, but the rank should be 5 and 10. So the ranks will be different, and the progress bar also will be different. Yes, the progress bar will also be different. And what else? Connection timed out. Okay, try again, baby. And I'm expecting then that when I click on one of those, I will have my text printed out. This is what I'm expecting. By the way, you see we disconnected here and we are now reconnecting here, so the save and load of the location is working properly. So we are now saving the, okay, let's press N. Something happened. So we have two blocks. We have two blocks, which is not bad. We have one block with 5, one block with 10. Unfortunately, the percentage is not correct. Assuming that is in percentage, but anyway, it's not. Maybe it's from 0 to 1 as a default. Could be. So they are both filled out. I have my text here on the right side, which is the temporary. Now, if I click on this, I have my 46, 10, 2, which are the three parameters. If I click on this, I have my 46, 5, 1. Pretty good, boys. It kind of worked. The only thing that is not correct is the percentage, but fuck, this window is above the. Okay. Can escape. Now the escape is of help. I don't know if the progress bar by default is taking a number from 0 to 1, but I mean, for what I see, I'm assuming yes. I'm assuming yes. U progress bar is very simple, blah blah blah. Percentage. Percent. Use to determine the field position ranging from 0 to 1. Okay. Okay, this is why our progress was fully filled up. So we should say, if we want to say 50, we should say 0.5. If we want to say 20, this must be a float then. Okay, make float. Thank you. 0.5 and make another float here, which is 0.2. 0.2. This I can remove. So I can put here. I can put here. So I need my structure now to be having a float now. So I have to change my structure, which was under data. So this percent becomes a float. You can save it. You can go back here. Now everything is fucked up because I passed into all the function I passed in. I don't know. Let's see. Percent and percent. Then this percent. Where is it used? Yeah, percent. I know. Well, actually, the percent here was taking already a float, so it's pretty good. So this should be fine, and this one we can remove. And this is an orphan. It's coming from another dimension. Okay. Fine. So like this, we should have our percentage bar. I mean, proper, right? It should be proper. Should be proper now. Interesting. Can we make it with 3? Can we make it with 4? Can we make it with 5? Yes, we can. Will it have a scroll bar? I don't think so. Do you want to try with 3? We can try with 3. Why not? I can just do this, copy paste, and we have 3. Easy. This one will be value 3, value 25, percentage 0. 0.1, no, 0. That point will be 0. The third one will be 0. So adding a pin, going there, and that's it. So now we have 3. You see how dynamic it is? It's pretty cool, huh? We didn't expect this, huh? So quick. You did not expect this so quick, huh? I know. You're underestimating me. Okay. Okay, let's press N. Oops. Let's press N. I'm just moving this out of the way. Let's press N and see what happens. Boom. We have our 3 buttons. 3 progress bars. One is 50%, one is 20%, the other one is 0. Right? I'm just thinking that this one will always be filled. I mean, if you are here, obviously, if you are here, this one will always be filled up, you know? And this one will be like half, and this one will always be empty. So the question is it really useful to see it like this? I don't know. Is it, or you just want, I mean, from the one that you have to progress. I mean, if you are, let's say here you are ranked like 7, I don't know, 6. You are ranked 6, right? So you will see this one filled up 100%. This one like this. They will be rank 6 written on top. And then here you have, you know, just an empty, just a bar that makes no sense. This one will never be filled up. Alright? So what I'm saying is it better then to avoid the bar if it's filled up? So something like, imagine that this one is filled up, okay? Imagine that this one is filled up, okay? This one is half, okay? And then what we could do, we could just have, let's say, this icon helps. We could just have this icon for 30, then immediately after another icon for 40, another icon for 50. I mean, without the progress bar, because all the progress bar will be empty. But I think it looks worse this way. I think the empty progress bar gives a sense of time, you know, the time that you need or whatever. Give space. Yeah, I think I prefer to keep it empty. I think I prefer to keep it empty. Yeah, I think I do. You want to have a single bar, one bar only? The problem of the one bar only is that it would completely break our concept of reusability of the widgets. You know? Because one widget for us now is this. One widget for us is this. One widget. So it's a progress bar, a button, and a number. And we are replicating this as many times as we need. If you have a single progress bar going through everything, then I will have to rethink everything, and it will not be as much reusable. So I think the answer is no. I'm sorry. No, I think the answer is no. It's better like, I mean, it's easier like this because we can reuse. Then maybe we can blend. You know, we can put the progress. If you want it to look like it's a single progress bar, we can just put the progress bar that goes under the icon, so it will look like it's a single one. Yes. So it will look like is a single bar. If I do like this, and I go slightly outside of the widget and slightly inside the icon, it will look like a single progress bar. So, I mean, depends on which design. I mean, which design is better, you know? I mean, if you like it one way or the other way, let's try the other way so we see if we like it more. Let's try it this way and see if in the next iteration, when we look at the screen, you know, we like it more. And see. What do you mean by not possible to only show bars not 100 or 0%? No, I mean you can show whatever value. Like I don't understand the question. I think I didn't catch what you meant. Okay. Nice. This is pretty cool though. I like it. Let me try the version with a single progress bar and see what happens. Just for fun. Let's try the single bar. In the first widget, it will look a bit weird because we will go outside the window. We go outside the window? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Because our icon is rounded, and so we need to go even a bit more. But yeah, it will look like a single thing, you know. If I make it slightly larger, you know, it will look like it's a single thing. Because our icon is, so I have to go to the middle, exactly to the middle of the icon. In the same way, I have to go, I don't know, like this at the back. And I think this way will be okay. Let me also do the 100 because it makes no sense that it's 0.5. No, and okay. Because the first one will always be filled up if the second one is 20%. So let me try this way. I don't know what I like more, if I like a single bar or if I like the spacing, you know, the fact that it looks like there is an icon, a bar, an icon, a bar, an icon, a bar, but I mean, simple to change. As you see, it's very simple to change, so we can decide anytime. You can have an artist work a bit on the UI, you know, and make it look pretty. Unfortunately, it works for the first one, which goes under the widget, but then the second one seems that is not taking the transparency of the other widget. Yeah. So the transparency of the first icon is not getting transmitted to the other widget. The other widget is completely cut off. I don't know. At the moment we cannot do. At the moment we cannot do it. We cannot do it in a single bar, but it's fine. Maybe there is a simpler way. Maybe there is another way. We will invent something else and we will do it as a single bar. For now, we stay with a small spacing, you know, between this one and the other one. We'll have a small spacing between the two. We'll have this small spacing and that's it. Okay. Now, now what's next? So we have our widget which is generated, and we can also yeah. So the question is, which is a tough question, if I should make a widget of a widget, you know, if I should make this By the way, I need a scroll bar, right? We said that we want a scroll bar. I don't know if we want a scroll bar, but horizontal box. Does horizontal box automatically scroll, or do I need to add a scroller? I think I need to add a scroller, right? Scroll box. Now with a scrollable a collection of widgets, great for presenting 10 widgets in a list, doesn't support visualization. What the hell? No, I mean, no, I need the horizontal box to scroll if there is more content that you can hold. Right? This is what we need. Horizontal box scrolling. Scrollbox isn't really scrollable. Okay. What do you mean? I can the same as scroll, but it's scroll when it's not. You go to scroll box, bam, bam, bam. No, a scroll box is not what I use. I use horizontal box. Is anyone speaking about horizontal box here? Because I use horizontal box. I don't know. If you just put a scroll box in a vertical horizontal box, it will be okay for me. Let's see what this guy has. This guy has a vertical box. This guy has a vertical box, an overlay, an horizontal box, and a scroll box inside. Oh my god. The scroll box is the one that is scrolling here. I mean, I can, if he puts the thingies horizontally, it's fine with me. I mean, I can put a scroll box. I can put scroll box as long as it scrolls horizontally. Scroll box, fine. Does this thing scrolls horizontally or vertically? Is there a way to tell him? Bar style, orientation, vertical, horizontal. Wow, nice. Yes, we wanted horizontal. Okay, so maybe it works already. Maybe it works already. Let's see. So if I use this instead of that, if I use this instead of that, I can make this one small. Okay, so it will only fit like one or two things. This one we call it SCR scrollbox1. You like the name? And we make it a variable. So instead of using our horizontal box here, we will use our scrollbox1. And we will add a child to this instead of this. And we will compile this and run it and see if it works. Boys! We'll see if it works, boys. The second time is so quick to start up the server anyway. The first time, just to cache some stuff, but ready? Boom. Pretty cool. I like that. I mean, it's obviously we need to design better the scroll bar. I guess you can associate an image to the scroll bar. I think so. I mean, you can skin it a bit. Vertical background image, you see horizontal background image. I think there is a way, right? There is a way. But it's pretty cool. So if we have 1,000,000 skills, you know, we can already scroll. Because I think we will have 1,000,000 skills. I mean, I think this list will be pretty long, most likely. Right? And okay. Now the only issue I have is that I need this to be a widget. I need this to be a widget that can be placed inside a window. I need this to be slightly smaller. I need this to have a background. I need this to have a lot of things. But anyway. I think we should make it a widget. Right? I think we should make it a widget. A widget that we can reuse, because as it is not good. Let me see first of all our skill stat progress, how tall it is. It's tall like this, so actually we could shrink it this way. Okay, we could be small as this, but it should have no, it's correct. It should be like this, and it should have at the top, it should have at the top the name of the skill and the rank, right? So there should be a text added here. There should be a text added here, which will be, for example, agility rank 34, 24, whatever it is, right? So this will be the thingy. This will be the thing that we just print out with your rank, exactly like we did in our picture. I always show this blank picture, like we did here, right? Agility rank 3. Then we will have this thing in our scroll box, but I want this to become a widget I can reuse. This thing I want to become a widget I can reuse. This thing, right? Makes sense? Makes sense to you? I think it makes sense to me. So how big it will be? Good question. Half of the screen. Let's say half of the screen. This doesn't exist anymore. This will exist in the next window. So agility, okay and okay. Now the problem I have, the big problem I have, that I have to, wow, I have to dispatch the dispatcher again. I have to dispatch the dispatcher again. So when the dispatcher of the button is triggered, he goes to the skill dispatcher, which he goes to this dispatcher, which will go to another dispatcher, which will be button skill. I need to name these dispatchers in a way that I understand what they are, otherwise I will be super confused very soon. This is wait a second. It is so the button. What is the button? The button is called button click dispatcher. Perfect. Then the button is inside this thing, and this thing should be called not skill dispatcher, but should be called rank. Button click rank dispatcher. Now let's call it rank click dispatcher. Rank click dispatcher. So one is button click dispatcher, right? Button click dispatcher, yes. The other is rank click dispatcher, yes. Then the next one, yeah, no, I have the client open. I know. Then the next one, because the rank, you know, the rank is like the 5, the 10, the whatever. The rank. I think I have to rename all of this. This one I named it progress, but actually it's not a very good name. I think it should be called, well, it can be called rank progress. Skill stats progress. Skill stats, because I already have skill stat ranks. Skill stat ranks, what is it? Is this one? Yeah, no, this one is skill, it's not rank. Wait a second. We have to change the name, so otherwise I will get crazy very soon. So the smallest object is the button. The next object is the rank. This one that I called skill stat progress actually is not very good. It should be called something like if I call it just rank progress, is that okay? Even if I wanted all the skill stats to be under the same name, I could do skill rank progress, but then I will have skill progress. So let's call it rank progress. No, I have the idea. Let's call it progress. This is all about progress, right? So let's call it progress rank. I hope you can rename this. And we call this one progress skill. Progress skill stats. I think it's fine. Can you do it? Because this thing is renaming a million things, but this engine is super good, so I think you can do it. So everything starts with progress, okay? So that's the point. So our button has a dispatcher which is called button click dispatcher. Fine. Our progress rank, which is this one, is only speaking about one rank. I mean one rank. Let's say one rank. as a dispatcher which is called rank. Perfect. Rank click dispatcher. Then the next window, rank click dispatcher. Then this window, which is called skill, will have a dispatcher which is called skill click dispatcher. Okay, so now everything is normalized. Okay, so all the names are freaking normalized. The only problem that we have now, so this one compiles, this one doesn't compile, but I know why. This one doesn't compile because now we have a million things that are not relevant. So what do we want to have as an input? So and then we need the final window. Okay, so let's create the final window so I can move this code there and I will have this working. So the final window will not be a widget anymore. Will be a window, so I put it under window. I will create a new widget, new widget, and this one we'll call it W window. I don't know why we have this W window, by the way. I mean, or W or window is kind of a repetition to have two, but okay, it's fine. Maybe because W stands for widget, could be. W window progress. No, what is this? Is stats? What do we call it? Stats and skills. Yeah, stats. W window stats and skills. W window stats already exists. Really? W window stats. Ah, yes, because it's the other one. Yeah, I know which one it is. W window stats and skills. Okay. So this window will have vertically, right? We'll have a scroller, a scroll box, a scroll thingy. Vertically, which will contain all the stats, all the thingies that we just did, a number of them. And then this one will have the text here, which will explain your rank and your stuff. So this will be rank 5, blah blah blah. And then here at the bottom we'll have the mana, health, and whatever, you know. So it will be mana, health. Okay. Okay. So but this window will be combining all the stuff that we did up to now. So now in this window I want to put in the event construct the code that I put actually just as a test. Here it is in my skill window. So all of this, right, I will cut it off and put it here. And for now let's just park it here for a second. And then what happens? And then he has to loop. So in the main window he has to loop for each of the main skills. So that's the fact, you know. We need to have one skill. So we make a structure of a structure. I mean, or we just have a parameter, you know. that just initialize that window? Yeah, probably. Because in the sub window we need two things. We need only two things. Very simple. We need this array and we need the value of our skill, like agility. Right? So we need to call for each. I mean, we need a for each loop here, which is taking. Well, in this case, will be slightly different, right? Because will be will not be different. Will be an array of this. I need to make an array of this thing. Okay, for now, let's say that we do it for one only, and then we will see what to do next. Okay, but basically, we will need to. So, is the input to this window? I'm struggling a bit to understand what should be the input for this. Because when I construct a window, I'm expecting to have some parameters set, or I should query, maybe in the construct I should do nothing. No, it's like this. In the construct I do nothing, and then there is a setup. I mean, there is a thingy, there is a setup function. There is a function that I call. These two things doesn't exist. There is a new event that I call, which is called setup skill window, setup progress skill window widget, setup progress skill widget. Okay, this one is then taking as an input two things: my skill ID, we call it, right? My skill ID, which is an integer. It may be also skill description, but we will say. And then it's taking my struct, my skill struct, an array of my skill structs, right? So this is the skills data. Okay, fine. So so in the construct we do nothing because we cannot do it in the construct. We have to call it just after. So all of this goes down a bit and goes connected to this. Now the array is my array. Yes, no problem. The only problem is that the skill ID at the moment we have in a stupid place. We have inside the structure, but this was just because it was a test. Actually, should not be inside of this, should be outside like this, but it's fine. I mean, it's fine. For now, we leave it empty. Then we do another iteration where we fix that as well. So basically, now this widget is capable of loading itself with data. The only thing that is not capable of doing at the moment is to call the dispatcher the proper way. So we need this dispatcher to have the same parameters of our other dispatcher, which is this, right? So it should be identical. So this dispatcher should have three parameters: integer. One is called one is called skill stat ID. Do I really need this skill stat ID here? Yes, I do. I do because it's the one that then I will check on the final window. I need rank and I need icon ID. And with these three things, I would like to, all of this should go in the other window. All this should go here somewhere. I don't know yet where, but it should go there somehow. This one should call the other dispatcher. No, did I make it array? No, why I make it array? No, not array. No, these are just single values, not array. Okay. So this one should just call the other dispatcher, which is this one, and just pass in the same parameters. Right? Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I think this is good. So, so what it does, this widget is just passing over all the parameters to the next level, to the parent window, which is fine. So this one now compiles. Now, when we reach our window, that is a bit of the tricky part. Because when we reach our window, I mean, actually, for now I can loop on this just to test that it works, but then I will have to change this because this is not what I want. It is not what I want. I want to do it multiple times. Well, just for fun, we could do this. We could have a what is called select. No. What is called? It's not select. Is it's not switch. Is the one that you can place sequence. I think it's sequence, right? Sequence. So we could do this twice, just for fun, and we can populate two. Yes. So what we need to do, we need to create a new. I have no idea what happens when I have to update this thing. I mean, creating it is okay. Updating it, I have no idea. Because I will have to do the same. I already create it all the time, but it seems a bit of a waste. Or if I just have to update the percentages, how do I push down, how do I push down this thing? I have no idea. I will have to keep like an ID to each of the progress bars, and then well, no, I can make a function that update. Okay, we'll think about it later, but I think I can just make a function on each widget that updates itself, and yeah, I think it's doable. Okay, I think it's fine. We can do that. So what I was saying, we need to create a new widget, right? And this widget this time will be of type skill something. Progress skill stat widget, which is the highest level that we have, which contains all the ranks. And then in this widget, we have to set it up. we have to do the setup. The setup will be the skill ID, which for now is empty. Okay, because we have to change data model, but I messed up a bit on that. And then we pass in an array. Okay, and then we pass in an array. Then we will do it another time just for fun, the same way, and so we create two lines, you know, two rows in our window. Now for each row it will do the setup, and will not do this. After he has done the setup, you will have to bind the event click skill click dispatcher, skill dispatcher, or rank this. I don't know how this thing is working, but it's beautiful. I have no idea how they made this, but it's absolutely insane. So I bind this to my event, which I will call one button has been clicked. No, one skill has been clicked, because I call the other one rank has been clicked, right? Yeah, so this one I will call it one skill has been clicked, and this one we actually do what we were doing before. So now is finally on the final window, right? Now it's finally in the final window. Which is what we wanted from the beginning. This one becomes a variable. We take this text block, put it here. We have some issue here. Why? This blueprint self is not a progress skill stat. The 4 targets must have a connection. Yes, it's this widget. You are right, my friend. You are right. Okay, so do you think this thing will work? I mean, it was working before, so it was working when it was in a single window. Now it's just multiple windows. It's just, I mean, a single skill. Now it's just multiple skills inside a window. Now when we press N, right? When we press N, now we want to, not to create this, but we want to create, now I deleted it, I can just change the, yeah, I can just change this. We want to create a window skill something. Add it to the viewport, set the visibility. Yes, exactly. Does everything compile? I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised. Seems so. Will it do something, or will it just explode? So there is a scroll box. That scrolls vertically. That contains stuff that scrolls horizontally. Just to be a bit mean, let's make it a bit smaller so we see if it actually scrolls both sides. We only have 2, right? We can put like 20. We can no 20, but we can put like 3 or 4. I mean, it's pretty easy. Just do this. So we have 4 lines now. We can have 6 lines now. Let's do 10 lines and see what happens. I want to see how much time it takes to create a window. If it's instant or what. Let's put 10 lines into this. Ready? Ready, boys and girls? Let's see. I'm not sure I connected everything, but maybe yes. I press N. Didn't work. It didn't work. Why didn't work? It seems that it's not adding the widgets to this window. Do we get any error? We have a lot of creating new ranks, creating new. We have a lot of create new. So it's definitely doing something. But we don't see anything. I mean, we see just the ranks and the mana, but we don't see the middle of the window. Okay. Okay, what I missed to do? Why I connected to pre-construct and I didn't connect it to construct? I have no idea. So I didn't add the widget to me. I didn't add the child, so it cannot work. That's why. I didn't add this to the child. So add child. No, add child. Add child. We need our scroll box to be a variable. SCR scroll box 1, scroll box vertical 1, and this one will be txt rank description. Okay, and yes, here we need to take this scroll box and have this as a target, which is adding this window as a content. So the fact it didn't show up was because we didn't just add it to as a child, so it couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Why this window is clicking on out on the other screen? Okay, let's launch it again. Now it should be okay. Well, now it should do something more. Why this window is off on the other screen? You're still alive, boys, or not? I think we're making good progress. Now, I think it was a bit of an exercise for me to test, you know, the ability to create widgets made of other widgets, which are not pre-made by Unreal, but are made by us. And this was a very good result, I think, because we can encapsulate functionality and then reuse it very easily, and we can pass on as dispatchers the events like the on click of a single object to the above window, so to the window, to the parent window, and seems to work pretty well. The only thing I don't know is the time to actually construct that window, if it's something insane or not, because the total of our skill window will be pretty big. Will be like 100 skills, you know. So it will be 100 skill, each one with a number of sub ranks. So he has to create like 1,000 objects when he updates that window. Time for M. Boom. Not bad at all. The only problem is that it is a big problem actually. Is that the widget inside doesn't scroll horizontally, it doesn't have an horizontal scroll bar. It is very bad. I don't know if it's a bug or just there is another way to do it, but this widget is scrolling horizontally. Okay, one of our widget is scrolling horizontally, but now there is no horizontal scroll bar anymore. Now the container widget, which is this one, scrolls vertically, and it's okay, but doesn't allow us to scroll horizontally, which is a problem. Maybe they don't manage that. It is a pity, but maybe there is a way to do it that I don't know. But I was expecting to see an horizontal scroll bar for each of these widgets, because each one can scroll horizontally. I don't think I removed it. It might change, right? I don't think I removed it. It might change in any way. This may be a problem for our design. Because this vertical scroll box vertical scroll. Let me see if there is any parameter that allows maybe scrolling inside scrolling or something like that. Orientation vertical. Okay. Scroll bar visibility visible. Consume mice wheel. Yes, when scrolling is possible. Scroll bar thickness. Always show scroll bar. I don't know. Allow overscroll. Disable to stop scroll bar from activating inertial overscrolling. Navigation destination. Navigation scroll padding. Allow right click. Behavior. Tooltip is enabled. Visibility. Widget. Clipping. Click to bounce. This may be a problem if it doesn't work a scroll bar inside another scroll bar. I think there is an issue. There is actually an issue. It's a big issue. We can solve it another way. We can have, let's say, 2 buttons. Instead of making this a scroll bar, we can have 2 buttons up and down, and when we click, we scroll manually. You know, we do it ourselves. Up and down, we do it ourselves. But do I like that? Not really. Why the inner widgets lost the horizontal scroll bar? That's the question. Why these widgets lost their ability to scroll? Maybe I have to set the scroll bar as both. I mean, vertical. No, it can be only vertical and horizontal. There is no other way. I cannot have double thingy. Could you set the window to scale to whatever size window size you change it? Well, the point is this: that for let me show you. For stats will be easy, you know. So we will have 6, and I can have my window properly contain 6. That's fine. No issue with stats. I mean, we can make our window fit 6. The problem I have is with combat or jobs. Because with combat of job, if you see the window, I have it somewhere. I have combat, whatever. Maybe I didn't make combat. No, I think I did. I mean, I did combat, right? But combat, you know, will be one for each skill, you know. So you will have this, you will have axe, heavy armor, light. I mean, how many skills of combat we have? Like 20. I mean, it will never fit. And for jobs, I mean, we have like 30 or so. So it will never fit vertically. It will be impossible. Or we make just a page, you know. We make just something like two big scrolls here at the bottom. You click and you just go to the next page. I mean, we can do that, and always have 6 on always have, I don't know, 6 or 10 or whatever they are fitting on the screen, right? We could do that. Maybe the incremental icons could be offset from the bar with a tick mark, like a meta stick below them, and the icon stay large but the bar would shrink. You mean to have them fit? Well, what I wanted to have, I wanted to have a system that could work whatever number of icons we will decide to have. Then maybe we will decide to have only 5 icons and we always fit, you know. But if it's a specific skill, maybe we'll have, I don't know, 50 icons because it's very special. I don't know. We invent the 50 and we really need 50. I didn't want the system to be bound to any number. So I wanted the system to be able to scroll horizontally. I wanted the system to be able to scroll horizontally. Actually, it does. It's just that it doesn't do scroll inside scroll for whatever reason. Now I have to search. Maybe there is a way. Maybe there is a bug or a problem. Maybe there is a solution. You know. So our problem is a scroll box inside another scroll box. It is our problem. Which I think from the UI design perspective is pretty bad design, you know. I think it's pretty shitty. I mean, if you have something that scrolls and inside of that other stuff scrolls horizontally, I think it's probably a bad design because you're getting very confused. You're moving in 2 dimensions, you know. So probably should not do it. Probably we should do what I said now, that we have like the left and the right click, and it just refresh the page with the next list of skills. That's probably the best. This is probably what we will do, because having 2 scrolls is pretty bad design, I think. But I just wanted to understand if it was possible. Right? I was expecting it to do it, so I was expecting it to do it. So I was I'm just learning here, so I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to create a talent tree like Path of Exile. However, I'm needing two-way scroll to navigate through the talent blueprint. The only way I imagine two-way scroll, vertical and horizontal, like the scroll box on the second one of this. Pack a second scroll box into an existing one. The first one vertical, the second one horizontal. Create a panel and two sliders. One slider use the vertical, one horizontal position the stuff. For mouse dragging, necessary two canvases. For scroll bars, from my experience, I have two scroll bars more likely give you an edge over the one. Yeah, this guy is saying what I was saying, right? Having horizontal and vertical scroll boxes at the same time is fucking making you insane. I mean, it's like you don't know where to go with your mouse, you know. I think we will do the page. You know, I think we will do the page. I think one scroll box is enough. It's already annoying, you know, to have one scroll bar. Having two scroll bar would be super annoying. Okay, decided? What do you think? One scroll bar only and fuck it? So this thing will not be scrollable. Means that this will become... I mean, this is now a scroll box. What should become? Should become an horizontal something. No, a vertical something. Right? I hope it keeps the scrolling though, because I want this to be able to scroll. So I will delete my scroll box one. I will delete this. I will just take something that does not scroll, but is able to pile things vertically, which is this. And I will call it box, vertical box one. I will make it a variable. And then here we will get our vertical box one, and we will put it here as a target, and we will remove this. Okay, so now we have that other widget. So now let's see if the things inside are scrolling, because maybe it's not a problem of the scroll box, is the fact that we wrap them inside something that is preventing the scrolling. Right? Could be that they have to be free. I don't know. They have to be free to scroll. I mean, they have to be... no idea. How big did I make that thing? Yeah, big enough. Okay. They don't scroll. No, they don't scroll because there is no need at the moment. Ah, fuck me. They don't scroll because the site is enough. They have enough space. It was not the scroll box. It was me. They don't scroll because I gave them enough space here. You know? That's why they were not scrolling. There was no need of a scroll. So maybe it works also with the scroll box. Let's see. Let's see. Let's do it again. Removing this. I'm adding a scroll box. Making it like this. They didn't need that. They didn't need to scroll, so they were not showing the scroll. That's why. Okay, let's try now. So maybe we have our crazy, you know, annoying UI. You can scroll in multiple ways. Let's see. Maybe we have it. Because if each widget works as it should scroll. We made the monster. We made the monster. I mean, it's not that great, but I mean, it's obviously very annoying, right, to have something like this. But consider your screen for a second. Consider your screen is just as big as this, you know. It's cut off here in the middle. So, but anyway, it works. The scroll of scroll works. Scroll of scroll works. Now, it looks very bad because you have to move your mouse here and then scroll a bit and then go up there and see another one. But anyway, but this means that we can have any number of. I think the page will be nicer though. The page will be much nicer. I mean, to have a page and then you click on next, you see the next page. You know, I think it's much nicer. What do you think about the page versus scroll of scroll? What do you think about? I think the page is better actually. We can keep the horizontal scroll in case that thing really has a lot of skills, but you know. What do you think about page versus scroll scroll? I think we should. I mean, for now that we are just testing, you know, we can keep it like this, so we can pump in any data, and it's working. You know, so this was a bit my objective, you know, to have like a first version that is working anyway, whatever data we put in, and we can visualize it fully, no matter what. No, not single skill. Meaning that you have all the skills that fit in one page, for example 6, and then you have, I mean, like I did here, right? Like I did here. So let's say that you have one page like this full of skills, but then there are 2 more. Then you just have a button here at the bottom. I don't know if you see it, but you just have a button here at the bottom that says like next page. You know, you click on this, and another page like this one shows up with another 6. Then you click again, another 6. Click again, another 6. So, I mean, paging I think would be for sure nicer than double scrolling. The scrolling of scrolling, you know. But I mean, depends how many of these things we make. I mean, if we can make a shorter progress bar, and we can make yes, a shorter progress bar, like it would be small like this, and we can have maximum 6 skills, 6 ranks, you know, horizontally, and it will never scroll horizontally, right? So it's up to us to design how big we want this thing. It's up to us. I mean, we can design it nice for the screen, or we can design it nice for the game. So I don't know, we can. But anyway, I'm happy the scroll inside scroll works. I think it was fun. Now I don't think we want to do it, but it's still fun. So we can. I think we can keep, you know, the thing as big as possible, so it will not scroll. can keep the thing as big as this, and we can keep our panel, our progression panel, the same. So yeah, like this or more, whatever it is. I think at the moment is 1,300 and 1,300. Let's say 1,300 is fine. 1,300. So like here. So it's unlikely that it will scroll. And yes, now we have few other issue though, because we didn't. So the system kind of works, but we don't. There are a few things we don't do yet. We don't properly populate the percentage based on a single number, but we populate the percentage based on some shit things. And we don't place here like your rank, the name of the name of the skill, and things like that. But it's already pretty good, I think. It's already pretty good. So now basically with that thing done, I could pump in data. You know, I can create 5 windows, all the same, and I could start to populate them with the player skills. Yeah. Should be pretty nice. The only problem I have is the fact that you don't have a number at the beginning, but we assume that the beginning is always 0. Is it bad to see that you see like when you are like, no, I think it's okay. When you are like rank 3, you see a bar starting from nothing, going up to 3, and then you see that at 5 something happens. No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay, so I think this was cool. I just need to understand what to do next. I mean, if I want to pump in real data, but I think before putting in real data, we still have a few things to do, because at the moment we have few problems. One problem is that the percentage is actually inside the single rank, and this is a very bad idea. The percentage is global for the skill, right? Absolutely. It's global for the skill. And yeah, so the only thing that a rank needs to know it needs to know its percentage. Yes, it needs to know its percentage, but what a skill needs to know. Yeah, what the skills need to know. Because the rank is fine, but the skill the structure that I passed to this guy is different. What I passed down here should have all the parameters, percentage, skill, blah 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 blah. For each rank. But the one that I gave to the other window, so at this level, should only have, should not be made of this. Should not be made of this. Maybe instead of having construct, we could have add skill, or we could have, yeah, we could have a function called add skill, which is adding 1 row. You know, is adding 1 row to the widget. in one row because this setup progress skill widget should have another parameter. I mean, it should have the skill ID, fine, or maybe it should just have the description. Does it need the skill ID? Yeah, we wanted to have the skill ID to then use it when we identifying. Yeah, I think we want to have the skill ID. We want to have the skill ID, but maybe we can also pass in just the description, you know, so that we pre-parse it. Instead of asking it again to the server, we just provide it to this widget. Let's try to fix this. So we need the skill ID and the skill description. Skill description is a string. Skill description is agility. Skill ID is 46. Okay. Then we need your rank. That is what we need. Then and the player's rank is an integer. Then we need what? Then we need the skill data. Yes, the skill data. But in this case, the skill data should be without percentage, right? Yes, without percentage. Because the percentage should be calculated here. I mean, the percentage should be calculated based on the rank automatically by this function. I don't want to pass in data, right? I want to calculate it. I want to calculate based on the player's rank what is the percentage of the progress bar of all the widgets that are in that skill. So I want to calculate it. I think it's easier, no? Or maybe I pass in the rank. Maybe I can pass in the rank and it can just do a comparison. I mean, each. Yeah. I think it's easier. I think it's better. Yeah, I think it's better. I pass in the player rank and so I pass it to this. Instead of setting percent, yeah, well, I could just do something simple. I could just get the player rank and see if it's greater than this. And if not, yeah, I can just do it here. I can just do a division, right? One divided the other. So I can just divide the player rank. I just divide the player rank by the current rank. So let's say the player rank is 10 and the current rank is 10 as well. The total is 1, so I will go to 100%. So this is my percentage. If my player rank is 20 and this rank is 10, no, I have to check that is greater than. So I need a branch here and I need to check that is greater than something. So if this is if it's greater or equal to 1, because I don't want to set a percentage which is above 1. Well, Maybe it doesn't make a difference. If I set a percentage above 1, it will anyway go to 100%, right? I think it's clamped to 1. We have seen before that it was clamped, right? So, I mean, we gave a number like 50 and the bar was fully set. So I think it probably is okay if we just do the division like this. So if my player rank is 20 and I divide it by 10, I will have a result which is above 1, but it's fine. It will be 2, so it will be fully filled up. If it's the opposite, so my player rank is 5 and this rank is 10, I will have, yes, 0.5. So I think it's fine. I will have 50% of this. So I think it's okay. So I can use this as a percentage. But the result should not be an integer. The result should be a float. Why division of two integers is giving me an integer? Why this? Why two integers divided by each is not a float result? I don't understand. Integer. No, I want a float here. I want a float. Why how do I change it to a float? I clicked on something, now it's loading 1 million. Blueprint, integer, division, float results. Dividing an int to an int, we result. So I'm having enough time for this to figure out. I have alt float and currently points. Basically, what I'm doing, I want to set a progress bar equivalent to blah blah blah. Yeah, but it becomes an integer. It has the same problem. Dividing an int by an int returns the result without a reminder. Even 2, we know it isn't. You have to convert them to floats and divide them properly. Really? There is not a simple way? I mean, I have to convert them to float first, and there is not a blueprint that is giving you a float as a result? Okay. The normalized to range. What is normalized to range? Normalized to range. You have two integers coming in. Normalized to range. Value max. Value max. Return that. There is an integer again. What is normalized to range? Normalized to range. Oh no, it's returning a float. Returns value normalized to the given range. Example 20 normalized to the range of 10 to 50. Okay. So we can do normalized to range 0 to 1 and then put in our value. And we have our percentage. Right? We can do like this. But I don't like it. Let's do just float divided by float and that's it. I don't know why I have to do all this complex stuff just to divide two numbers. I mean, let's just do float to float and that's it. I will just take my player rank divided by the current rank, and the result will be my percentage. All right. So actually I don't need the percent in the, I don't need the percent in the structure, right? I don't need the percent in the structure. Okay. Now the skill ID. So the percentage now I calculate through the player rank. Now I'm not giving the player rank though, because when I do this setup, let me check. Setup, progress skill window, I'm not giving any player rank. Now the player rank, I should get it. I should get it from, well, player rank is easy. I can even query the database now. I think we have, I can just get the skill and the player rank, right? That is the only thing I need. What about having this thing generate the ID automatically, so I don't need the structure at all? Skill ID. So if I query the database today, right, I can get the player rank, the skill description, and the skill ID. Easy. Then what I'm missing, why sometimes it just loads randomly some Visual Studio? I don't know. It's like if I'm clicking on something in the editor, there is not, I mean, there is a C++ code, it just try to open the C++ code. So I was saying that I can query those things, but I will miss this information, which is the array of ranks for that particular skill, which we don't have yet in the database today, just because we didn't create it, right? But I want this to be created somehow. And then the icon ID. And then the icon ID. The icon ID, can we generate the icon ID automatically? Can we have a sequence? Can we have a number generator in the UI? Can I get an object by, can I get a button by ID? Get widget by ID? No. Does a widget have an ID? I mean, for sure he has an ID. Because I mean, here I was trying to generate a new ID, but I mean, I was trying to get my own ID to then know which button I clicked, but I can probably just use the widget ID. I mean, there is for sure a get ID, come on. I don't believe there is not a get ID, UID, unique ID, come on, there must be something. I don't believe a widget doesn't have an ID. Do you believe it? Hello, Hami. You cannot see or hear anything? I did a proxy now, it's working fine. Okay, good. Seems that around midnight we are losing a lot of viewers because people are going to bed, and I should go as well. Yeah, I just wanted to understand if we can get that widget, Unreal Engine get widget ID. Because the question is what we want to do with that ID, because when we click on the button, we want to give a description. We want to give a description of that rank in ID, right? Rank, we want to give a description. Now, we could just have that loaded up at the beginning and passed into our button so that it just do this. I think it's probably easier, you know. Could we just have a sequence? I don't know, I have to think a bit about it because I think there is a simpler way than creating our own ID. How do I get a ID from dynamically created button and look up in the array? This guy is exactly our same problem. Exactly the same. And he's also doing exactly the same thing that we are doing. And this guy is saying something which is okay, but enumeration works only if you have a limited number of buttons defined up front. In our case, the number of buttons is infinite. I mean, we don't know how many they are, so we cannot create an enumeration. Dispatchers are great anyway. Okay, guys, it's a bit late. I think I need to go. I think I need to go. But it's been a good day. I think we did a lot this evening. I think it's been good. We did a lot in the sense that I understood a lot of how to create this kind of widget inside another widget, and this actually worked okay for us. I just need to figure out how to pump in some data, you know, to this thing. But I think as it is already pretty good. So let me just see if I can compile and save, and I think I can check in. I check in these changes, right? Yeah, so I think I can. Because everything is working properly. Just when you press N, is doing that. But yeah, it's fine. Okay, with that said, I think we'll call it an evening. So thank you for watching. I will try to stream also tomorrow. This week's schedule is a bit more complex, but I will, if I can, I try to keep my schedule and stream tomorrow as well. Okay. Yes, so hope to see you soon. Have a good time.